Legătura dintre Marea Britanie și România a ajuns la un nivel fără precedent. Pe lângă binecunoscuta afinitate pe care regele Charles al III-lea o are pentru țara noastră, cele două state colaborează pe foarte multe paliere, de la securitate la proiecte ecologice. Desigur, trebuie menționată și comunitatea mare de români care numesc Marea Britanie acasă. Andrew Nobel, ambasadorul Regatului Unit, își termină misiunea diplomatică la București. Recapitulăm împreună evenimentele complexe care i-au marcat mandatul din țara noastră. Sunt Cristina Cileacu, începe Pașaport diplomatic. Andrew Nobel, ambasadorul Marii Britanii la București, bine ați revenit la Pașaport diplomatic, din păcate pentru ultima oară în această capacitate, în acest rol.
Mulțumesc mult că am această ocazie să vorbim cum am făcut deja destul de mult.
Ambassador, during your mission here, UK went to a lot of dramatic events, historical events for sure. Some of them were sad, some of them were joyful. But the first one was Brexit. Everyone was sad because the UK was leaving European Union. In the same time, for Prime Minister later and at the end of your mandate here in Romania, we see that UK is looking again to a closer relationship with the European Union. Could this be something like keep calm and come back to the family?
Well, I think what we've always wanted to do was have a relationship which was as wide as possible, but which served the desires of the British population. And Brexit, however sad it's found in Romania and other places, was definitely what the British population wanted. The negotiations over Brexit were really quite difficult, and I'm glad that we have had some changes since then, like the Windsor Framework, which has helped regulate trade in Northern Ireland. So yes, there have been changes, and I'm sure there will be more to come. And we look forward to tackling together the problems that European countries face. Certainly for my Prime Minister, tackling the migration challenges are right at the very top of his agenda, and he would like to do that with the European Union, but as much with on a bilateral basis with individual countries as well. So I think you should expect this to be a dynamic environment. We've taken the decision recently to rejoin Horizon and other projects, and I think if the EU wants to have a deeper relationship with the United Kingdom, as long as that fits the democratically expressed views of the British population, then I would have thought we will be a good partner for negotiation.
Well, I think by far the saddest event that happened during your mission here was the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The entire world actually was sad, not just the people in UK. How was it for you?
It was very, very sad indeed. I was actually in London when the news broke, talking to the Romanian ambassador in London at a reception. And it was one of those moments, of course, that one had prepared for intellectually but not emotionally, and it came unexpectedly the day after the Prime Minister had been welcomed to Balmoral. So my first reaction was to try and arrange what we needed to arrange with me in London and to get back here as quickly as possible. And the reaction here was deeply touching, I have to say. For a country that isn't in the Commonwealth, the reaction of Romanians of all walks of life and from the political class was extremely profound and very touching, and I was deeply affected by that. But it remains a deeply sad moment for us all. Of course, with the death of a monarch, you acquire a new monarch. So the mourning period doesn't go on. We have to sort of get back on the horse and ride forward into the future. And I think that's what we've done. And again, Romania has an extremely unusual position in having such a close relationship with the King. So there's real sadness, but there's also real joy that has been re-established.
Yes, but also before the coronation of the new king, the King Charles III, the war restarted in Europe, and Great Britain is known for its old position when it comes to the Black Sea region, the Black Sea security, and the fact that it's very knowledgeable when it comes to Russia. Everybody was expecting this war in the sense that it was announced, but when it really happened, what instructions did you receive? How you communicated with our authorities and the rest of the allies present here in the region?
Well, of course, we didn't wait for the invasion to happen. We were active well before that. We were issuing warnings based on our intelligence about the situation in Ukraine, and we were talking to all allies well before, and we were helping Ukraine prepare for what looked like an inevitable military assault at some stage. The end of February brought the proof of what we had expected, what we had been preparing for, but of course it was a deeply shocking event nonetheless. It actually unfolded in a very different way to what everybody expected. Most people were expecting a short, sharp shock, and Russia's military propaganda had led us to that sort of expectation. I think the fact that it has proved an impossible task for the Russian military forces is one that we are very happy about, and we look forward to those military forces leaving the territory of Ukraine entirely, going back to Russia, and then we can get back to the sort of international settlement that we've had for a very long time. You know, we can look back, I think, on the days when the Soviet Union was negotiating with NATO countries and other countries to deliver peace in Europe, and that unfortunately has been destroyed, not just by the action in Ukraine since last February, but by earlier steps by the present Russian government. But I'm sure that we will get back to that kind of negotiated peace once the withdrawal has fully happened.
I asked you before during your staying here, but I would like to ask you again for the Romanian public. Can you say once more why the United Kingdom is so interested in our area, in this area that was usually dominated by Russia? United Kingdom, which is kind of far away, is the other end of the Europe, knows really well the subtleties of this area and somehow supports these countries. We
aspire to have a global foreign policy. The reason that we are putting so much emphasis and effort into this part of the world at the moment is that it is this conflict and this challenge to our way of life and to our democratic structures and governance that is the most, one of the most important tasks. But we are deeply involved in all parts of the world. We have a development policy which supports our international security policy, which makes us a real global actor. We have always been that. And there are some countries in Europe who share that sort of global perspective. Romania is one of them. The relationships that Romania has maintained over decades are not limited to Europe. And so it's not surprising in a way that we are such close partners on all of that. But it's actually what's taking place in Ukraine, in the Black Sea, around the Black Sea, that is so very important to the security of us all. Because, as we know, if Russia was allowed to be successful in Ukraine on its own terms, there would be risks to other people along the line. And we cannot afford to have this sort of conflict or this sort of action by violence on an international scale. That cannot prosper if we are to be safe in the future.
I think the best part of the relationship that Romania has with the United Kingdom, with Great Britain, is the fact that your king, King Charles III, after the coronation and before becoming a king, he was present here. His first visit, private visit after the coronation, was actually here to us. For you, you received him before as Prince of Wales in Romania. How was it to welcome him again as a king?
Well, in many ways it was the same, because as you say, it's a private visit. and the thing that motivates the king to come to Romania is the fact that this is a place where he finds real peace. I mean, he explained very well in Cotroceni Palace what it is about Romania, why he started having this relationship with a country that doesn't particularly have close historical relations or not deep historical relations with the United Kingdom. But it's about the ecology, it's about the culture, it's about the suffering of the people as well. And I think what he said in Cotroceni about his really sharp reaction when he heard in the 1980s about how the population of Romania was being made to suffer by the Ceausescu regime. That's when it all started for him, and that has continued. So to a large extent, the man who came was the human being. The fact that he was a king, of course, attracted us all, but we didn't particularly do anything different other than respond to the very kind invitation of the President of Romania to have that glittering reception in Cotroceni and the Guard of Honour, which was so special and really did emphasise that this was a different visit, albeit one with the same content.
Well, his passion for nature is well known, not only in Romania, all over the world as well. And I do remember, because I participated to your first press conference here in Bucharest, actually in your residence, you break the news that you adopted an orphan bear. Now that you're leaving Romania, because your mission is over here, will the bear remain orphan again, or what's happening with him?
Well, the deal is that you support a bear for a year. So Hansel we supported for a year, effectively. Since then we have adopted another 7 bears. No, another 8. We've got 9 altogether, with whom we have a special relationship. I mean, the truth of the matter is that here's this fabulous NGO in Zărnești doing something to make good the misdeeds of humankind towards individual bears, and they stand as such a good symbol of the natural world that mankind does so much harm to. And so what we as a family wanted to do, and it is family money, it's not the British government, we wanted to put money into the coffers of 1001 friends in Zărnești to ensure that they could continue their work. And of course they've now got many more bears. I think they had 97 when we first arrived. They've now got something like 125. So they desperately need people to go and visit it and to contribute to it on it. And what they can do is look at their online coverage and see the bears swimming and playing and climbing trees and eating. So that's why we do it, and I hope we'll continue to do that.
And because I mentioned the first press conference you had here in Bucharest, you had a very good relationship with all the media in Romania. You are always present, always communicating, laughing, smiling and being natural with everyone, but also very serious. How would you describe the quality of the media in Romania?
It's clearly very broad. I think in international terms, media freedom in Romania is on a par with what we have in the UK. We had a very interesting meeting between the Foreign Secretary, who was then James Hunt, and the Centre for Journalism here in Romania. Journalists everywhere want better conditions, want more money for their outlets. There's a natural frustration, but I think the press freedom here is actually very good. There's real pluralism about it. I think we've probably got more economic journalism in the UK than in Romania, and one of the things we've tried to encourage is the creation of more economic journalism, which can help provide a challenge to the business of government in such a key respect, because it's difficult for other people to provide that sort of challenge. I mean, this is a program that we don't really have in the UK. I mean, I think there are certain elements of the media experience in Romania which are really world class. And I don't want to make you blush, but I say that advisedly.
So we have to export the diplomatic passports to UK then?
I don't see why not.
Okay, we'll arrange that after the interview. Because your mission in Romania is ending, but also your diplomatic career is ending as well, you will retire. What are your regrets when it comes to your diplomatic life and also to the mission here in Romania? What was not quite as you like it, or?
I'm generally speaking somebody who tries not to have regrets.
That's good.
I think it's much better if you have a sense that something's not going right or you're making a mistake, that you actually stop, recalibrate and go in a different direction. I mean, there are challenges, certainly, in being a diplomat, and the global mobility that we have puts a huge strain on one's family. On my wife, my children, and the extended family. So I think that's one of the things which is difficult to compensate for, because there's nothing else other than family. I'm delighted in my time in Romania that the relationship has grown in almost every area. Grown in effectiveness, grown in size, that we've responded to the challenges. I mean, you mentioned Brexit and Ukraine, there's also COVID, and throughout all of those challenges, what the UK and Romania has done together has strengthened and improved, and has helped provide a good basis for our shared population. You know, we have up to 1.4 million Romanians living in the UK who've been affected by all three of those major challenges. So I think the things that we can put a name to that are actually much better than they were is very, very big indeed. If I regret anything, I think it's probably that I wasn't a better diplomat, or that I didn't do as much exercise as I should, or that I didn't spend even more time, because the possibilities for engagement here by a British ambassador are absolutely endless. And I tried to say no as little as I possibly could, but I do regret the people that I had to say no to.
Ultima întrebare aș adresa-o în română, tocmai pentru că fiecare ambasador britanic care vine aici vorbește bine și limba noastră, și dumneavoastră o vorbiți la fel de bine. Când reveniți? Pentru că din experiența mea cu diplomații străini, cine vine aici la misiune întotdeauna regretă când pleacă de aici și întotdeauna revine. Dumneavoastră când aveți de gând să reveniți în România?
Va fi la fel cu mine. Regretăm, eu și familia, foarte mult că timpul nostru a venit la sfârșit. Am dorit să rămânem mult mai mult, dar din păcate am un succesor care a învățat limba română și e foarte bucuros să vină aici la sfârșitul lui octombrie. Dar sigur că vom reveni, dacă va fi într-un cadru profesional sau numai ca vizitator, ca turist, nu știu. Cred că va fi un amestec acestor două aspecte, pentru că România intră în suflet, în inima noastră. Pentru mine, mai ales pentru că am avut o relație și în anii 80 și cred că e extrem de important ca noi toți să înțelegem în ce stare a fost România în 89 și cum a făcut un progres enorm în acest an. De fapt, numai din 1996 până acum România s-a transformat. Și e o plăcere mare pentru mine. Eu am văzut o România însanguinită aproape. Eu am suferit cu populația românească din anii 80 și să fim aici acum într-o țară cu o calitate de viață și cu peisajele extrem de frumoase, dar mai ales cu acești oameni care sunt foarte primitori față de englezii. Deci trebuie să revenim. Am o ambiție să revin chiar în noiembrie pentru prima vizită, dar da, România e într-adevăr în inima mea.
Domnule ambasador Andrew Nobel, vă mulțumim pentru misiunea din România și pentru interviu.
Mulțumesc mult!
Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe contul nostru de Twitter. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe, vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și reluare sâmbătă după miezul nopții. La revedere!